Hey, what's up? My name is Edward, DJ Purple Love, founder of Bacpak, the DJ booking app. This podcast is designed for DIY, do-it-yourself event planners. I myself am not an event planner, so every week I sit with experts in their specific fields to give you the tools to elevate your event from a gathering to an actual party. This is From Gathering to Party. And it's another week, so we have another guest. I would like to welcome Keith Berson to the studio. He is an advertising photographer. How are you today, Keith?
I'm doing great, Edward. Thanks for having me.
Good. So Keith today is going to be talking to us about valuing your photographer. But first, let's talk music.
Okay, sounds good.
So what are you into today?
So I listen to a lot of bluegrass music. I play mandolin, and so that's something that influences a lot of the music that I sort of listen to. But in the past, I've listened to a lot of jam band and music that is based in improvisation.
Okay.
And so, bluegrass tends to be pretty traditional. There are certain songs that have certain patterns because they say, you learn a few chords and presto changeo, 300 songs as far as bluegrass music is concerned. And then, you think about like bands like Fish and the Grateful Dead who would take a song and they would have these traditional sort of things, and then they go way out of the box and take you to a place where you're like, are they even playing that song anymore? And then they bring it all back and it gets crazy. And so, for me, it's a full circle. Like I love all different types of music.
Where are you typically going to listen to bluegrass these days?
The bluegrass scene in Los Angeles is thin, but there is a good amount of bluegrass that comes through. Places like the Troubadour host some good bluegrass, and downtown at the Terragram, there's some pretty good. Those are two of the main venues that bluegrass comes through. Most bluegrass bands will, when they do a tour, it's tough to get out to California, and so they'll come out and they'll do maybe like Los Angeles, San Diego, Santa Barbara, and do a few, but they'll typically only do that about once a year. So,
is there like a hub or a region where a lot of bluegrass is in this country? Maybe like the South or Midwest?
Maybe Nashville.
Nashville,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I think Nashville is sort of, maybe if you want to be a serious bluegrass picker, and you probably go to Nashville.
Got it. So, is there any song specifically that you are really into right now?
Right now, I am really into a song called The Cape by Guy Clark.
This one here?
Yeah, this is it.
Okay. So why this?
Well, he's singing about all of us, really. The Cape sort of represents your ability to chase your dreams and go after the things that really are important to you and making your life about it.
Okay.
8 years old.
Let's listen a little bit.
Cape tied all around his neck. He climbed up on the garage. He's figuring what the heck.
You were telling me earlier that there's multiple versions of this song. What's the difference?
I don't think there is much difference. Just the way he plays it, who he's playing it with. Guy Clark is a guy who really was a staple of the folk music community, and him and a lot of the people, a lot like any generation of musicians, they all get to know each other and they all are playing because they know they're the happening.
So let's talk valuing your photographer.
Okay.
What does an event planner need to know about their photographer? This is a brand new world for me. Let's talk.
Okay, awesome. Let's pretend you're an event planner, even though I know you said you're not.
Okay.
So it's most important for you to know what you are expecting the photographer to deliver at the end. If you can give them a list of every photo you expect to be delivered at the end, then your photographer can tell you exactly whether or not that is something that is realistic, and if it is something they're capable of within the means of the budget you're offering.
So am I giving physical photo examples of shots, or am I just writing out over the shoulder? I guess that's more film, but am I writing out the way I want the shot designed, or am I just showing you, hey, this shot from this movie that I saw, I want that?
Yeah,
or,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything. For me, it's however the person will be able to best communicate with me what they're looking to see. A lot of times, if somebody isn't having the ability to verbally tell me what they want to see, I will ask them to pull photos. I'll say, just pull some photos for me. Like, pull some things that, like, really speak to you and sort of are getting at the vibe of what you want to portray with the imagery we're creating.
Okay. So you get hired for a job.
Mm-hmm.
You've gotten the photos and the examples written out for you.
Mm-hmm.
You show up to the event. What's the first thing that you do?
Well, it's been a while since I've done event photography, but I would say that the first thing you want to do when you get to an event, you want to assess the ambient light in the room. As an event planner, your photos aren't going to be good if the room is dark. I know a lot of people will say, turn down the lights and make it really dim, and the music's going to be soft, and it's going to be this really cool, chill vibe, and then we're going to have the photographer come in and capture that. Well, guess what? Like, technology is only so good, and pictures aren't going to be great in a dark room.
Yeah.
So when I walk into a place, a lot of times I'll show up early. I'll talk with the event planner and say, hey, here's what's going on. The room is seeming pretty dark. I'll shoot some example photos and say, if we can make these adjustments, if we can bring up the lights a little bit, it might help with the ambient light in the room. And for those of you that are layman's terms, ambient light is just the light you see. It's just the light that you can see with your naked eye. It's not light that is coming off of the flash on my camera, which a lot of photographers will use a flash, but you want to balance. You want to have the room feel like it's filled with light, not like there's a blast of light coming from the person who's taking a picture of you.
So what's the solve when the event planner, or either the person who hired the event planner, the organizer, says, no, this is the setting that I want for my guest, and the photographer isn't going to need to figure it out? What's the solve?
Well, the solve comes from pretty much the 101 playbook from a wedding photographer, which is another thing that I also, not only have I not ever done it in a while, I've never done it because I don't. But that being said, the 101 playbook from a wedding photographer would be have some extra flashes on slave, on a stand, or, poking out of somewhere. So that way it creates a sense of ambient light. So when that flash goes off, the other flashes are going off too, and it's sort of all work together sort of emphasis.
So that's interesting. So if you've got staged lights that are going to flash when you hit your shutter, you're now not getting candid shots anymore. You're getting shots that are almost staged because they have to be within that range of that where that flash is. Is that correct, or am I wrong?
No, I think you're thinking about it wrong.
Okay.
Think about it as if the event planner said, yeah, sure, we can turn the lights up.
Okay.
No problem, let's turn up the lights. So that's what those extra flashes are. They're just turning up the ambient light. Maybe they're high up, they're bouncing off the ceiling, bouncing off a wall.
So it's lighting the whole room.
Yeah,
it's not lighting an area.
Yeah, get some extra light in the room.
Okay. Interesting.
Now that can cause the expenses of the photographer to go up. The expertise of the photographer needs to be much higher up at that point because, technology fails. Like, you want somebody who's done this 100 times and goes, oh, that's not working because of this. 5 minutes, let me just pull that down, fix it, and then you're back on.
I'm imagining every time you hit that shutter, the whole room just looks like a light storm. It just looks like a flash. The whole room. Is that correct, or am I off on that?
It's not like a lightning storm, like a strobe light.
Okay.
Okay. Depending on how much I'm shooting, then there's going to be some flashes happening. But you would hope that maybe in a party atmosphere or in an atmosphere where you would want to see all that extra light and all that stuff going on, there's enough activity, enough music, enough talking going on that it just sort of becomes part of the background. I don't necessarily want to be shooting tons of photos, but also it's my responsibility as the photographer to capture the moments that they're asking me to capture. So I'm going to do what it takes.
Got it.
When I used to shoot weddings, when I used to shoot events and stuff, there's always the typical like, hey, can you get a photo of us? Yeah, of course, please get together and
snap there's a lot of that in events.
Gotta take two.
Yeah,
everybody gets two. Someone's gonna blink every time. Like either on the first one or the second one. Like sometimes you get lucky and they don't blink, but if you ever take one photo, you get a blinker, guarantee it every time.
Got it. So we spoke about the ambient light and what to expect and what to do when that situation is not ideal. What do we do when the situation is ideal, but we have maybe a stubborn event planner that wants you in 5 places at one time?
Do the best you can.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, you just do the best you can. The answer is always yes.
Yeah.
The answer is always yes. Because I mean, I'm a relationship guy. I want people to want me around. I don't want people to say I don't want ever to hear anybody have to say, "Oh, I got to go deal with this photographer now who's like such a pain." I don't ever want that. I just want them to say, "Oh, I didn't even have to think about that. That was easy." So if they say, "Hey, we're doing all these things," they're all sort of happening simultaneously. You think to yourself, if they can be at all 5 things at the same time, then I could probably be at all 5 things at the same time. So, that's what it is.
Okay. Equipment. You're bringing your equipment in. Is the event planner or organizer setting up an area specifically for you, or are you going back and forth to get what you need as the night is going on?
I would say the most important thing to do is have this discussion with your photographer well before the night.
Got it.
That's going to go along with your shot list. You know what I mean? And that's why I have people put together a shot list for me. As a photographer, and deeper in theory in everything that anybody does, your job, no matter what your actual job is managing the expectations of the person paying you. So this event planner, if they're expecting a photo booth, but they never say the words photo booth, and then I show up and they're like, "Okay, your photo booth's going to go over here." I go, "What?" But no, I said no.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't communicate that. So it's always very important to communicate that. I personally always will assess all the pieces that are going to be involved, and I'll list it all out for the client, in this case the event planner, and I would put it all in front of him and say, here's what it's going to cost to do what you're trying to do. In the example I gave with the photo booth, if somebody wants me to show up and just take candid photos of a party, that certainly is going to be way less of a charge than shooting a photo booth, because now you've asked me to bring a studio.
Yeah.
Into, it's like there are companies that like have the little box with you. You can just type in whatever and you get your, you get your photo booth photo. So like, if you want that, then. So anyway, that's basically what it is like, just make sure you communicate what it is you're trying to do at your party, so that way the person you hire can say with confidence whether or not they can do it for you.
So let's elevate it a little bit. Let's talk about executive events, or events that are a little bit more upscale, maybe a sporting event, NBA, NFL. If now you've elevated your event planning career to the level where you're getting hired at these events, what is the expectation of that style of photographer?
I think it's the same. I think the same for me. The expectation would be to communicate with the person who's hiring you.
Okay.
Find out what it is they want created, and for you to deliver a reasonable budget for what it's going to cost to do that. And then just as you get up the chain and there's more to handle, you just get more people involved. You just get more support. Maybe you bring a second photographer. If like this person's like, "Hey, all day you're going to need to be in 2 places all day." All right, guess what? I'm going to bring an assistant photographer, and they're going to shoot some of the things, and I'm going to shoot some of the things, and it's going to cost this much more because it's what it requires for your job to be completed correctly. It's like, you want this job done correctly. This is how I want to do it. And now, speaking from a photographer standpoint as opposed to the standpoint of the event planner, the photographer has to make sure that they keep in check all the things that are going to be required to do this, because you're running a business too, they're running a business, and there's always going to be somebody who will do it cheaper, or somebody who's starting out and is willing to do it for less because they want the opportunity. People that want to go with those less expensive options have that right to do so, and I respect that, and I say that's great. You have somebody that will do it for less. Best of luck. I hope your event goes awesome. If I can ever help you with anything in the future, come on back. Let's do it. It's no hard feelings. It's business. And sometimes just that's why, the expectations at the higher level is the experience, to know what it's going to take. Because anybody can get themselves into something. You know what I mean? But can you come out of it with your reputation intact? Can you deliver on the promises you make? And that's the whole game.
Got it. I think you kind of already answered the question that I was going to ask next, but how do you know how to price a photographer? How do you know if you're underpaying or overpaying a photographer?
I would say get some multiple estimates. If you're not sure whether or not you're getting a good deal on the person you want, go find a couple more people and see what they're charging.
Got it. We had this discussion before where, you'll get inquiries just so that they can find out what their uncle should charge.
That's right. That's the joke of the industry, is that everybody has a photographer that is also their uncle. And hey, to all the uncles out there, I'm an uncle. And, some of us know what we're doing and some of us don't. So, this is just take your best bet, whatever you can do.
All right, let's talk about Bacpak.
Okay, cool.
So how do you see Bacpak involving photographers within our app?
Well, after checking out your app and sort of seeing the vibe of the app, it seems to me that you already have the equation built. Okay. The key factor is that your bleep, so your stuff. So you're able to ask the questions to vet the DJs to make sure that they are of the caliber that you want to represent at Bacpak.
Yeah.
They're there representing you. Anything that they do poorly reflects poorly on you as a company.
Yeah.
So if you are taking on photography as well as a number of other things that I know you have your eye on to bring into the Bacpak realm, you're going to need experts. You're going to need someone you trust, who you say, this person knows their stuff. I don't know my stuff about photography, but this person does. So they're the gatekeeper.
Would that person happen to be you?
Hey, man, it might be. I don't know how soon you're gonna, just it depends on whether or not my cape works and I can fly off the garage or not, right? If I fly off the garage before you get it together, then that's it. But yeah, you know what I mean? I think to me, if I was in your position, I would want to have somebody running a division that can say with confidence whether or not that particular person or group of people are prepared or not to represent you in that realm.
Awesome. So this is the time in the show when we talk about you.
Okay.
So is there anything that you would like to promote? Any ways that people can get in contact with you? Your Facebook, Instagram, whatever other ways people contact people these days? Phone numbers? I don't know if you want to give that one out.
Yeah, no, you know what? Anybody can find my phone number from my website. I'm very available. KeithBerson.com, Berson like person, and but with a B. But I'm one of those people that loves talking to people about projects, about photography. I'll give you a little hack right now, a Keith Berson hack, which is if you have a photography project that you're trying to figure out how you're going to do it, even if you have no intention of hiring me, you can still call me and ask me things, and I'll answer your questions. For
your uncle, for their uncle,
for them to go and tell their uncle, like, okay, so this is how you got to do this thing, because this is my view on things, is that in the realm of advertising photography, which is what I do, everybody's trying to convey a message, whether it's about their product or about the service that they are providing, and so they're trying to reach their demographic effectively. And so there are effective means and ineffective means to reach your demographic and sort of answer those questions and be able to make the choices that you need to make in order to create the imagery that says the things that you're trying to say. So for me, the idea of exploring all the different possibilities of how to create imagery and what it is that you need, and helping you understand what it is that you need, is that if you're going to create a body of images to launch a brand new product line, you're going to need a lot more than just a picture of the product. You're going to need lifestyle product. You need all these different things. And sometimes people say, like, okay, we needed this, we needed this, we needed this, we needed this, and they don't realize they're talking about 4 different shoots or 4 different projects, because these all require different things coming in. So that's basically what it's all about, as providing services to somebody, is that my entire philosophy is that everybody is creative. People may not think they're creative, but they are. You know, I am an extension of your creativity, so to speak, if you're hiring me, because you already have an idea. You're already creating. You're the creator. You're the person that's making this business, that's creating these images to provide this thing that you have out there. So in your head, you see it. So that's what I do, is I ask you the questions to pull it out of your head so that we can make it for you. And so if you want to come to me and I can tell you all the ways of how I'm going to pull this image out of your head and we're going to create it for you, and you want to take all that information and take it to somebody else and let them try to do it, good luck. Best of luck. I hope it goes great.
So let's wrap up the show and jump back to music. I want to play a song for you that I chose for today.
All right.
What I want you to do is I want you to take a breath and listen to the song, take it all in, and then chime in at any given point of the song and let me know how the song makes you feel, what's the mood of the song, if this song would fit an event. Maybe you would have this at a studio while you're doing a photography shoot. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right.
I dig it. This is some good 70s funk, I think. Maybe a little bit remixed.
A little bit. It's actually more modern than you think.
Well, this is definitely a lively crowd. We're not having cocktails and dim lighting, I don't think.
Paint the picture for me.
Oh, man.
It's groovy.
I dig it. I don't know. I mean, I think that this is probably, like, if we're talking events type of a thing, I mean...
Sure. Whatever you want.
Yeah, I would say that this is it's like probably like a little bit of a party where you want people to be moving and shaking and dancing. There's probably a dance floor at this party. There's maybe a bit of cool lighting going on.
Okay.
If I was to put this on while I was doing a photo shoot, then I would expect there to be a lot of movement in the people that are listening to it. So if I wanted to create a lot of movement, then maybe this is something. So to me, like, I'm bopping up and down and I'm dancing and my shoulders are moving. So to me, this is something you put on when you want people to hear it and you want their bodies to move.
Cool. So at the end of every show, we give our guest the last word. Any last words, Keith?
Oh, you didn't prepare me for that. Last words. All right, last words. This podcast is for all of you do-it-yourself party planners out there. Use your words. I'm the father of a 3-year-old, and I will tell you, use your words and communicate. And if you are reasonable and you communicate your needs to your different vendors, your event is going to be awesome.